Most of the time when I was called to go in, it was a high poverty school, high poverty area. And so I really began to look at, okay, why is it that we have so many kids in high poverty areas that are not being successful? I'm the first generation out of poverty, and so in some ways I do have some of that in the book. But I wanted to write a book that wasn't based on I think and I feel, but based on fact, because nobody had done that before. And I wanted to use real effect sizes, and I wanted to have real data that says, I'm not saying this is the thing to do because it seems to me like it makes sense or from my experience this worked, but really to say we have a group of studies that show that if you do this, this is what the effect size will be. I wanted to be based on fact. And I call Sandy Darling because she has this wonderful database that had lots of instructional practices in it, but instructional practices so that we knew what the effect sizes were. And I wanted to be able to pull that and ask Sandy if she'd like to co-author with me so we could use her database and use that information. As we got into that and working with the late Belinda Williams did pass away after this book was published, unfortunately, because she wrote the first book on Closing the Gap and Achievement, and working with Rosalind Carter, and had both of those people who were very familiar with inner schools and with kids of color and kids from poverty, and we had them read what we wrote, our first manuscript, and they called that and go, you're 75% right. We're like, oh, I don't think that's enough. So with their help, with their notes, and they just literally turned over to us a lot of their notes, then we went back and revised the book and revised it so that it was culturally correct on all fronts, not just on one. And of course, the book has just been a tremendous seller. It won the AEP Award for 2009, won the Bronze Award from Forward magazine. So that book was really a love of mine, and I really feel like with that book that we're helping to enable teachers to know how to work with these kids.